Hey everyone, it's Sunday, December 27th. The time is 10:20 a.m. and the temperature right now is -1 degree Celsius. I'm here in midtown Toronto, and the plan for this one is to head on over to Yonge Street, and then I'll drive north up to Highway 401. Then I'll head east over to the Don Valley Parkway and take that south to the Gardiner Expressway, where we should get a pretty spectacular view of the city skyline. Then from there, I think I'll get off at the Spadina Avenue off-ramp and head north up Spadina Avenue and eventually make my way over to Greektown. So this is the Yonge and Eglinton neighborhood we're in right now. And I'm just turning north onto Yonge Street. Traffic should be pretty light, as I don't know why the heck anyone would be out driving around the city right now. There's a small lineup at Best Buy. Yesterday was Boxing Day, or at least traditionally it would have been Boxing Day. But with retail stores not open to in-store customers, it was probably just a shell of its former self. So now I'm currently driving north on Yonge Street. And this is my first ever pre-recorded driving video on this channel. It's not my first attempt. I failed a few times yesterday at making a driving video. And I had a GoPro that kept insisting on overheating. So perhaps I'll throw those failed attempts up on my second channel. I did do a live stream on Christmas Eve where I drove from midtown Toronto, where we are now, down south to Niagara Falls. And then at night, I streamed my drive back from Niagara Falls to Toronto, and it was snowing the entire way. So if you're into driving videos, you could check those out. Although those were live streams, so this one should be a little bit better quality. So this is the intersection of Yonge and Lawrence. Here you'll find Lawrence subway station, and we are entering the Yonge Lawrence Village. I'm not normally up this early on a Sunday, but I thought it might be better to get out and record this while traffic was still light. I do have this car till the 29th, so let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this. And I'll see if I can squeeze a few more in before I have to take this car back. I'll probably do a live stream or two while driving as well in the coming days. This is a rather low-rise, low-density neighborhood. I recorded a walk through here in November, and I remember seeing people walking around with shorts and a t-shirt on. I think those days are long gone. And this here is Yonge Boulevard we are approaching. This is where Yonge Street meets Yonge Street. And those towers way off in the distance there are where you will find the Shepherd Yonge subway station. That's the neighborhood of Willowdale. And just in on the right here is the Hogs Hollow neighborhood, which is a rather affluent part of town. Looks like the windshield's getting a little mucky. I have done a few bicycle rides up this hill on the single speed in the past. And that's probably the most challenging thing I've done on the bike in the past few years. Maybe I'll do a winter ride up it if I'm feeling particularly sadistic. Oh, I'm going for it. That was the intersection of York Mills on the right and Wilson Avenue on the left. So just up here before I get to Willowdale will be Highway 401, which is the busiest freeway in North America. I'll be turning right and heading east along the 401. And shortly after that, we'll be turning south onto the Don Valley Parkway, affectionately known as the Don Valley parking lot by a lot of people in the city. I will want to be in the right lane, I think. And this windshield continues to pick up muck. I considered mounting the camera on the outside of the car, but I thought in these conditions it's probably better and safer to keep it mounted on the inside. And here is the on-ramp to the 401 eastbound. This highway does get as wide as 16 lanes in some places. And just to the north of the 401, running parallel to it in this part, is Shepherd Avenue. And there you'll find line 4 of the subway system. And these towers just up here on the left were inspired by buildings in New York City. Although I think their proportions are a bit off. They look rather short and squat for their designs. And the reason for that is they were actually intended to be taller. But the NIMBYs came out in full force and battled them when they were announced. So the developer had to reduce their height. And if you're curious, I'm going 111 kilometers per hour right now. The speed limit on the 401 is 100. And on the Don Valley Parkway coming up, it'll be 90. There's the North York IKEA just on the left here. That was North York General Hospital we just passed. And around that large cluster of towers, I'm not sure if you can see it on the left, but those are all located right around Fairview Mall and Don Mills subway station on line 4. And here's where we go south on the Don Valley Parkway. You could take the 404 north to a city called Newmarket. The Don Valley Parkway is kind of neat. It kind of winds its way through a valley. It's kind of one of the nicer driving routes you could take in the city, providing there's not much in the way of traffic, of course. To be honest, I don't really have any reason to ever drive this way. So other than my failed attempt at making a video yesterday, I don't recall having been down this way anytime in the last several years even in a car. There's the off-ramp to York Mills Road coming up. We just passed York Mills Road on Yonge Street going in the other direction. And I'm currently going 105 kilometers per hour. So even though the speed limit's 90, the flow of traffic is going a bit faster than that. And you could jump off here at Lawrence Avenue West. And you could head on over to the shops at Don Mills and the Edwards Gardens and the Bridle Path neighborhood where Drake lives. Once we get south of Bloor Street, the Don Valley Parkway sort of flanks the eastern edge of downtown Toronto. And we'll be down in the valley running alongside the Don River. Says Gardner Lane's reduced, Don Valley Parkway to York Street. That shouldn't be a problem at this time of day. There's the off-ramp to Don Mills Road, and I think that's Thorncliffe Park just in on the right here. I might be wrong on that. And that really tall tower straight ahead would be 1 Bloor East. So that would be the intersection of Yonge and Bloor. And just to the west of there would be the Yorkville neighborhood. So the city skyline is starting to come into view. This bridge coming up is the Bloor Viaduct. So on the lower level, that's where Line 2 trains, or rather subway trains, that service Line 2 run, and on top of that is Bloor Street East. And just on the left side of that viaduct, it becomes Danforth Road. And on the left and right would be Riverdale Park. It looks like there's lots of kids tobogganing down Riverdale. Wow. Maybe I should go there after and make a quick video. And on the left is Bridgepoint Health Center, formerly Riverdale Hospital. And the Don Jail is just in there somewhere, but you won't be able to see that. So just up ahead, I'll be turning west onto the Gardner Expressway, and we should get a rather spectacular view of the skyline. In fact, I think I might like the view from this side better than the view you get coming from the other side, although they're both pretty amazing sights to take in. So that is Lake Ontario just to the south of here, which would now be on the left side. And there's a look at the city's skyline in all its glory. It's interesting how the new CIBC Square towers are kind of blocking our view of the CN Tower a bit. So what I will do is hop off at Spadina Avenue, which will be just up ahead here. A lot of these condos have views and balconies that pretty much back right onto this highway. That sign said essential travel only. I would consider this drive to be essential, wouldn't you? There's the Toronto Sky Dome on the right. I don't know why they put the wrong name on it. And I wanted to go right, but the car beside me literally just jumped out behind me without signaling, so I didn't have room to go over. When he saw what I was trying to do, he slowed down and let me over. That was awkward. And now we are turning onto Spadina Avenue. Looks like there's some police lights just up ahead. And just on the left, well, and the right, is the City Place neighborhood. I've done some walks through this area recently. looks like just a traffic stop. I maybe would have found a safer place to pull over than where that guy did. That guy walking his dog did not seem to be impressed with that Hummer. Although I don't think he had the signal, so that was kind of a weird situation. So just up ahead, we'll be briefly passing through the Queen West neighborhood and then Chinatown. There's the 510 Spadina streetcar. And we're at King Street West. One of the big failures of this dedicated streetcar way in the center of Spadina Avenue is that they don't have signal priority. So what that means is they will often get stuck behind red lights, and they usually make a stop just before the intersections. So they'll stop to let people on and off, and then they'll get stuck behind a light. So the original idea was that the lights would be synced so that as the streetcars are coming, the signals will generally turn green if possible to keep them moving. But that was never implemented, or at least if it was, it wasn't something that stuck. So what should be a very speedy streetcars trip up Spadina turns out to be a lot longer than it ought to be. And we're here at Richmond Street, and coming up is Queen West. And then we will be in Chinatown. So yesterday when I came up this way, where are we? Maybe this guy's pulling over to park. I ran into an awful lot of traffic on Bloor Street West. Hopefully that won't be an issue today. And welcome to Chinatown. Let's see if this blinking sign captures my speed. I'm going 50. Oh, I think it said 49. Oh, 50? I don't know how to read that. It's alternating between 45, 49, 50. And this is Spadina and Dundas, the main intersection here in the main Chinatown. Ooh, she's got to be really careful riding on that stuff. And this is College Street. And that grand old building straight ahead is the U of T School of Architecture. That's the University of Toronto. I think it's called the Daniels Building. It's been extensively remodeled in recent years. And there's the old Waverly Hotel and Silver Dollar Room location on the left. Now being replaced by what else but a condo and the Scott Mission. There's the University of Toronto graduate housing on the right. Pretty much the whole area off to the right is University of Toronto property. There are some residential homes and whatnot, but it's mostly U of T. And we're entering the Annex neighborhood. So I'll be, if traffic is good, turning right on Bloor Street and then heading east through the rest of the Annex and Yorkville, and then I'll be on to Bloor Street East and the Danforth and into Greektown. And I think that will be that for this video. So just north of this intersection, Spadina Avenue becomes Spadina Road. And we've got those nice protected bike lanes on Bloor Street. And this entire stretch yesterday was pretty much a parking lot all the way to about Sherbourne Street. That's the Bata Shoe Museum on the right. I've talked about a lot of these places 1,000 times in prior videos, but point out some of the major sites maybe. Just up here is Varsity Stadium on the right. It's part of the University of Toronto, and the Royal Ontario Museum just beyond that. And here at Bedford Road you'll find the condominium where Mayor John Tory lives and the Bedford entrance to St. George subway station. These are beautiful Toronto roads we're hitting right now. We are entering Yorkville as we go past Queen's Park on the right and Avenue Road on the left, and this stretch is called the Mink Mile. It's the most expensive retail space in all of Canada. There's a lot of high-end retailers and luxury brands along this stretch, and just to the north of here is the Yorkville Village, well, you'll find a lot of smaller boutiques and some pretty nice restaurants and that sort of thing. And we're at Bay and Bloor. Those pink flags on the left signify the Holt Renfrew department store. It's sort of a high-end retailer, kind of like a Canadian Saks Fifth Avenue. Although now that Saks Fifth Avenue is Canadian, I don't really know any other high-end department stores like that. I'm sure they exist. I just don't know about them. So the next major intersection after this will be Yonge, and then we'll be heading east on Bloor Street East, as once we go east of Yonge, that's considered the east side of Toronto. So Bloor Street West will become Bloor Street East. There's a look at One Bloor West, which has finally started to rise. It's got a Norman Foster design. And here's where you'll find the Bloor Yonge subway station. I'm not sure what the holdup is right here. You've got a green light. You'd think traffic would be moving, but you seem to have hit a mini traffic jam. There might be a stalled car just up ahead, actually. I think I can make it through. There's those Indian farmers protest flags again. I saw those in this area yesterday. And I do see some flashing lights just up ahead. So this part of Bloor Street, at least for me lately, seems to be a bit cursed. It's the old Manufacturer's Life insurance building on the left, and St. Paul's on the right. So if it's anything like yesterday, it'll be backed up for another block or two. Once we get past Parliament, at least it should clear up, I would think. I don't have the luxury of a passenger who could just look this up on Waze or Google Maps. And I shouldn't be looking at my phone, so this is something we'll just have to deal with. There's something going on here. There's some officers standing at this intersection. Oh, it seems to be the Indian farmers' protest. We've found our culprit for the slow traffic, and this was probably what slowed this stretch of Bloor Street down yesterday. So this is Parliament Street. Just to the immediate south of here is St. Jamestown. And a bit more south of that, you'll find Cabbagetown. Now we're heading over the Rosedale Valley, and that's Castle Frank subway station on the left. And this is the Bloor Viaduct, which not too long ago, while driving on the Don Valley Parkway, we went underneath. These barriers, you can see, were installed to prevent people from jumping off the Bloor Viaduct. Cool. I want to be in the left here. And this is Broadview Avenue. So we are entering Greektown. I think it officially starts at Chester. These bike lanes were installed earlier this year. So this used to be 2 lanes on either side, but now it's only 1, and I don't see too many cyclists utilizing them at this time of year, and I think that was one of the concerns with them. Is that they're displacing a whole lot of traffic for something people aren't going to utilize as much during the winter, but really when the roads are clear and dry, it's perfectly safe to ride your bike throughout the city, and you will see a lot of people doing that just on these days where there's still a bit of snow. Most of the snow is remnants from the Christmas Eve snowfall we had. It did snow a little bit the past few days, but not much. And this is Pape Avenue. There's a former Nando's Chicken on the right. That was an early casualty of this pandemic. Thank you for visiting. So this is Jones Avenue. We are leaving Greektown, but I think this will be my cue to turn around and end this video. Let me just find a place to pull over and unhook things. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this drive. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. There are links to my Instagram account, which I don't update very often, and my Patreon account if you wish to support the channel, as well as you can check out channel memberships on the main page and my other channel, Johnny Stumbles, where I think I'll post those failed driving attempts and probably do a live stream or two there as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one.